I'm going to be surviving the next 500 days in hardcore Minecraft, building some of the best structures I've ever made, getting the most overpowered gear, and creating some of the most unique farms you've ever seen. So grab a snack, relax, and enjoy the movie. In order to make the build I want, I need to find the perfect seed. Luckily, I found one with a beautiful mountain scenery, and in the center there's an open area, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Like usual, I have to make my starter tools and get wool. This seed is even better than I thought because there's a village. But before I head down there, I should probably collect all the iron I can before I die to mobs. Alright, that should be enough iron for now. Now that I'm at the village, I can start trading and get all of the equipment I'll need. The whole process runs through the Fletcher villager, who receives sticks, and I get an infinite amount of emeralds. So it's time to get to chopping. While trading, I noticed some of my villagers are almost maxed out, so I made a tiny house to breed them. While that's going on, I need to get started on a mob spawner because I'm going to need gunpowder for the elytra, so let's get to work. I found this design off YouTube that required cobblestone, wood, and water. After acquiring all of these materials, the building process was pretty simple. After I got the mob spawner working, I continued upgrading more villagers. I maxed out the Fletcher and also maxed out the armor, meaning I had access to enchanted diamond armor. And after what felt like an eternity, I had enough sticks to buy the full set of diamond armor. I'll be honest here, I'm getting kind of tired of being stuck in this village throughout the whole playthrough, and I'm sure you are too. So similar to Aaron, it's time to adventure outside these walls. But besides the view from the mountain range, some animals, and some lakes, there really isn't anything. Even in an unfamiliar area, my desires remain the same. The need to get more and more emeralds. So with my new diamond axe I got from the toolsmith, it was time to commit deforestation. It's interesting to think about how simply being in a new environment can make the same task feel different somehow. And after having a surprisingly fun time chopping more trees, I went back home. And with enough sticks from the trip, I had access to all essential diamond tools. And if you haven't noticed, I technically have not gone mining this entire run. So with my new enchanted pickaxe, it was time to go mining. For some reason, I can't find obsidian anywhere. This is because when I dig down, all I see is the deep dark, which is the last place I want to be in. So instead, I found this lava lake around the mountain, collected obsidian, and went off into the nether. A soul sand valley spawn is kind of unlucky, but I'm sure I'll find the fortress soon. Well, it took a while, but I finally found it. I just have to kill a few blazes. Alright, that should be enough blaze rods. But before I go, I have to farm some endermen as well. And good thing there's a warped forest nearby. Okay, I should probably leave now before I die. Luckily, I made it home in one piece, and with the saddle acquired from the nether fortress, I rode my horse to celebrate successfully exploring the nether. The final task before I go to the end is the creation of a villager trading hall. The idea is pretty simple. Move all of the villagers from the tiny house I made them, assign them to a job post, zombify the villagers, and cure them. All to make the trades as cheap as possible. On paper, this is a great plan. The only problem is moving the villagers into the trading hall. Issues aside, I developed an elaborate minecart system to assign all of the villagers to their post easily. Now with the trading hall complete, I can trade for golden carrots, and with the gold I got from mining, I can make golden apples, which means I'm ready to head off to the end. Luckily, the stronghold isn't that far away from my spawn. Every time I go to the end, I make sure to bring 2 buckets of water in order to place it everywhere, just in case I fall off a pillar. And to be honest, I'm glad I did because I had a very close call. But besides that one mistake, the rest of the fight went well. I took down all of the pillars, took down the ender dragon, and even took a screenshot to post on my channel, which you should subscribe to, by the way. Now with the ender dragon down, I made my way to the end city. This is the first time I've ever gotten a seed with the end city this close. I have to farm a few shulkers for shulker boxes too. Okay, that should be enough for now. I'm glad I made the fireworks in advance so I don't have to walk all the way back. What if I told you everything I just did was set up for the build I want to make? This is because I only like building with elytra, and I wanted enough XP to get a good enough pickaxe. What I'm going to be building is a Gothic cathedral. I'm sure you guys have seen these before. These majestic structures made with really cool architecture. And the reason I want to build it, besides looking really cool, is because I've seen Catholic churches all my life. I've always been captivated by the stained glass windows, the aisles, and the way Christ lived his life. So I want to show my appreciation by building this in Minecraft. Now the tricky part is, how exactly am I going to build this? Luckily with Litematica, building in survival becomes pretty simple. Let me explain. First I need to go into a separate creative world and build this entire structure. I won't spoil it just yet, but let's just say getting the design down took a while, but I was happy with the final result. Litematica lets you place an outline of your build in survival, so the whole building process becomes much easier. It also provides you with all the materials you need. Now that's enough explaining, it's time to collect all the materials. First I need to collect 7,056 pieces of stone. Alright, I have enough stone. Now it's time to collect 6,187 pieces of deep slate. I need glowstone, which I can trade with the villagers for, and I made a sheep farm for black wool. The main issue is going to be sand, which for some reason I can't seem to find any nearby, so it's time to take another trip. It took some time, but I finally found sand. While I'm out here, I should probably collect flowers I need for stained glass. Alright, now I'm done collecting all of the materials, but there's still one problem. The village is exactly where I want to place the building, so I'm going to have to get rid of it. Now to make it, I have to flatten the surface as well. With all of that out of the way, it's finally time to start building. We're about halfway done and it's looking good so far. Some final touches to the roof, and there it is, the Gothic cathedral. And look, even the pillagers came to see his debut. So the interior is your average church, where you have the rows and a podium. I made the 4 pillars accessible because I want to make them into storage areas. But if you have any suggestions for what I can use them for, feel free to leave it in the comments. And with the build complete, this video's main objective is over. While it's not exactly a perfect build, I'm still very proud of it. I know it kind of looks out of place right now, but in the next episode, I'm going to focus on making it fit in, along with a nearby village. And for that, I need a little more deep slate. But while I was mining, I couldn't believe what I found. A city of darkness lying under us this entire time. Last episode we built a Gothic cathedral, which is one of my favorite builds to date. But in order to do so, I had to destroy all of the villager homes. So today I decided we are going to rebuild the entire village from scratch with medieval houses surrounding the entire cathedral. But before that, we have to move all of the animals and villagers, so let's get started. Okay, some of these sheep clearly don't want to stay inside. With the sheep out of the way, it's time to move all of the villagers, except there's a little problem. Villagers are very annoying to move to different locations. Minecarts would take a while and boats would also be a hassle. So instead, I came up with a brilliant idea to keep them underground for now. It's only temporary until the build is over, so let's get to digging. These 2 Fletcher villagers got zombified in the middle of the moving process, so I sadly have to let them go. Okay, with the villagers underground, all that's left to do is destroy the trading hall. Time to do the same with the villager breeding houses. I also have to move all of the items I have stored in this tiny villager house. So let's move all of that real quick. I should also probably take this time to get rid of some items I don't need. All that's left now is to move the horses and donkeys into the pen. Okay, with everything out of the way, I can now shape this area exactly how I want it. Let's begin by tearing down everything remaining from the previous village. With all of the houses gone, I can start flattening the land I'm going to use to place new houses. So let's enhance my shovel and get to digging. Okay, this is gonna be a lot more digging than I thought. I have to place more dirt along the side to give more room for bigger homes. There's also stone left behind, so I have to get rid of it, but it's for the best since I need it for stone bricks anyways. All that's left is to replace the stone with dirt, terraform the edges to make it look more cohesive, and there it is. We are ready to begin the building process. Designing the houses is probably going to be the hardest part. I think I'm gonna go for a more medieval approach to make it match with the cathedral. In order to do so, I went with a roof design I could use on an array of different houses, and I just made sure to make each one look unique. I also made sure to create chimneys and stables for each home, and after a couple of hours in creative, I finally had the house designs complete. With the schematics complete, it was time to collect the resources I needed for the houses. Here's what I need: 5,225 stone, 1,000 pieces of deep slate, 5,320 spruce planks, and 1,538 oak logs. Yeah, that's a lot of spruce, so we should probably get to chopping immediately. While I managed to get some of the spruce so far, I think I'm going to switch up my method. Going around chopping single spruce trees is taking a while, so instead I'm going to grow giant spruce trees. Now it's time to collect oak. Oh look, it's a wolf. I think it wants to be my pet. Alright, the first pet of the run has been acquired. But while chopping for oak, things took a turn for the worst. Okay, why are the baby zombies doing so much damage? Okay, you're probably wondering why I'm not using fireworks to fly away, but it's because I was worried the baby zombie would catch up to me and kill me at low health. And that was a fatal mistake. There's no way I survived on half a heart. I managed to see another day thanks to sheer luck, but it came at the cost of the wolf. Well, I'm done collecting oak logs and it's time to collect the last major resources, stone and deep slate. Alright, stone has been acquired. And that should be enough deep slate for now. I had some left over from the cathedral build, so that saves me a ton of time. And now with all of the materials, schematics, and terraform land, we can start the building process. The first few houses are complete and they look good so far. I'm also glad I added chimneys to some of the houses since it makes it look more realistic. And now with all of the houses complete, it's time to add some trees, which I also made custom schematics for. I wanted to have a variety of trees instead of just regular spruce ones, so I made 3 different custom trees ranging from small, medium, and large. Now it's time to place them down. Okay, and with the final one placed, I'm done with the trees. Now all that's left to bring the build together is a water fountain in the middle. But before that, I want to bring in all of my loot to the pillars I made for the Gothic cathedral, since I did say I was going to use it for storage purposes. First, I have to make sure all of the chests are organized. And while I'm here, I should also probably take the time to add signs to the cathedral seats, all to make it look more realistic. Okay, now I can get started on the water fountain. In order to make this design I found on YouTube. I need moss stone, which I need vines for. Luckily there's a ton of vines nearby. Okay, with all of the moss blocks I crafted, I can begin building the fountain. With the water fountain complete, I'll just add bone meal to spice up the greenery, and there we go. The build is finally complete. I decided I'm not going to move the villagers in just yet. First, I'm going to make a new trading hall and decorate the house interiors. But besides that, I hope the villagers can appreciate their new home. Oh, and before I go, I have to pay respect to an old friend. First, I want to show you guys exactly why I'm going to be making a new farm. As you guys can see, the one I currently have is pretty basic and only about 2 mobs spawn every couple of minutes. Good thing I devised a plan which consists of 3 stages of material gathering, and once that's completed, the farm can be built. So it's time to begin stage 1, building block. I'm gonna need all sorts of blocks for the farm, and the first one up is sand, so let's go get that. There's no deserts near me, so sand is a little scarce. I should probably look for a better spot. I'm also running low on fireworks, so I have to make a boat in the meantime. It only took about 30 minutes, but I finally found the desert biome, which should make this 100 times easier. Okay, I should have enough sand for now. It's time to go home. I have absolutely no clue where I am right now, but I'm sure I'll make it there eventually. Making the sand into glass as soon as possible should be my top priority, so let's get to smelting. I need a lot more coal, but good thing I have some left over, and if anything I'll just smelt wood and make charcoal. Now with the sand smelting, I have to collect gravel, but there doesn't seem to be any nearby. It shouldn't be hard to find some though. It didn't take as long as I thought it would, and while I'm down here I should probably collect the final block I need, which is deep slate. I've been mining deep slate for 3 episodes straight, but that's on me because I love building with it, so let's get to work. Now with all of the deep slate acquired, I can move on to the next stage, which is enchantment. I'm gonna need a pickaxe with a certain enchantment, which I don't have enough books for, so it's time to head to the stronghold and steal them all from the library. Well, there goes most of the library. All of these books are more than enough for max enchants. The enchant I need on this pickaxe is fortune, so let's hope we get it. And there it is, fortune 2. Not the best, but it should be good enough. With the pickaxe we just acquired, we can begin the next stage, which is dyes. I'm going to need all sorts of dyes to color wool and concrete blocks for the farm. I also need tinted glass, and for that I need amethyst, so let's go get that. I went to multiple clusters to get amethyst, but it's still not enough. So in the meantime, while I let those clusters grow, I'm gonna go acquire the rest of the dye. Dandelions for yellow dye, bones for white dye, and wait, this enderman is about to kill me, and poppies for red dye. With all of those acquired, there's only one more missing, black dye. The best way of getting black dye currently is by killing a ton of squids, which would usually take forever with a regular sword. So before I take on the whole squid population, I should probably get looting on my sword. I'm gonna enchant one of these books so I could get looting. Well, I guess Mojang has other plans. I guess I'll just go buy one from the villager instead. And there it is, looting 3. Now it's time to take on the squids. Yeah, that was much easier with looting. Now to use the dyes I acquired on the wool, I have to make a separate area for white sheep. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I wasted my time collecting poppies earlier since I have a ton from my iron farm. I'm just missing a few more amethysts from the clusters. And that should be enough for all of the tinted glass I need. And with the final piece of amethyst acquired, all stages are complete. Except wait, there's one final stage. It's time I finally tell you guys exactly what type of farm I'm going to be making. The idea is to make a functional creeper farm with a very unique exterior. I found this creeper farm off YouTube which produces a load of gunpowder and gives experience at the same time. But while that's cool and all, I wanted to make it appealing to the eye. For a while now, I've been itching to build this stained glass gradient design I saw on my feed a while ago, so I think this is the perfect time to use it. Essentially, the goal is to make the exterior a really cool stained glass gradient with multiple colors, and the inside is going to be a fully functional creeper farm. Now that that's all out of the way, it's time to reveal what the final stage is before I make this. I mentioned I'm making a creeper farm, and what makes it work are these snow golems inside of the farm. But as you know, you need a pumpkin to make one, and sadly I don't have any. So the final stage is acquiring a pumpkin. There's a pillager outpost nearby with scarecrows that contain pumpkins, so I'm going to head over there and take it from them. Well, that should be enough for now. I'll come and rescue these little guys later. And with the secret stage complete, it's time to begin building the farm. Okay, the red and purple layer of the build are complete now. I'm just missing yellow and blue. I left a few holes along the way, so let's fill those in. And with the exterior complete, it's time to begin the creeper farm. It functions by placing carpets to prevent spiders from spawning in, and placing slabs between 2 blocks, since creepers are the only mob that will spawn at a 1.5 block height, so that guarantees that no skeletons and zombies spawn in. And the final touch to make the farm fully functional is to place a snowman. Oh wait, I forgot they die in the rain. Let's try that again. And with the final pumpkin placed, the farm is complete. This creeper farm has 2 functions. One with a looting sword for 3 times the gunpowder drop rate. The other which converts it to an AFK farm when you place a campfire. I know somebody's commenting that this is not the greatest farm, and you're probably right. In terms of the amount of gunpowder you get, it probably isn't the greatest. But at its core, it's a really good farm. I can make all the TNT I want. Rockets are infinite now, so infinite elytra boost. And the XP from the farm repairs the wings. So I'd say it's a pretty good farm. And while you're down there commenting, you might as well subscribe while you're at it. So with this build giving us a major boost in progression, I can focus on making bigger and better projects. And in front of the build, it seems like winter is here, just in time for the holidays. For the last 300 days of our Minecraft Hardcore world, I've lived in a Gothic cathedral. But recently I thought it was about time I had my own house to live in. I had my first bit of snow a few days ago, so I thought in order to commemorate the holiday season, why not make a winter cabin my new base? In order to make the base, I'm going to need a ton of materials, and I usually just gather all of them and sort them into a chest. But the ideal thing to do is to put the loot in shulker boxes. I only have 3 of those, and I've been too lazy to go to the end, but I think it's about time I went, so to the end we go. Before we head to the end dimension, I want to make sure my elytra is at max durability, and in order to do so I have to farm these creepers for XP. Now that the elytra is maxed out, I shouldn't have an issue exploring the entire end dimension. So I took care of most of the shulkers at this end city, and there doesn't seem to be any more spawning. There seems to be another one in the distance, and hopefully I get lucky with shulker shell drops. I might as well take the spare elytra and the dragon head while I'm here, since I won't be coming back anytime soon. Now with 12 shulker shells, that should be more than enough boxes, so it's time to head home. Now that I have enough storage for resources to make the cabin, it's time to plan exactly what the cabin is gonna have inside. First off, it has to be made out of spruce wood, since I think it's the best wood and it fits the winter theme best. I also want it to contain a total of 3 floors, with the first and second having a gap in between them, and placing a tree in the middle. The most important part is to make these pillars around the whole build using materials like stone bricks, cobblestone, and andesite. Of course, I'm gonna leave a few details out or else I'll spoil the final result, but overall the whole build shouldn't be too hard, considering I already have most of the materials. Like I mentioned earlier, I already have a ton of spruce I collected earlier in order to make the village, so all that's left is to collect oak, stone, andesite, and deep slate. I won't be needing too much oak since I have some left over, so let's knock this out real quick. See, that didn't take too long at all. Just a little more mining left and we should be done collecting all the materials necessary for the build. With everything collected, all that's left is to do some crafting. And there we go. We have everything we need. The next step is to figure out exactly where I'm going to make the cabin. My village build is located in a crater surrounded by snow mountains, and I want to make sure the cabin is nearby. I found this other mountain across from my village, and I think this would be the perfect area to build it. But before I start placing blocks, I have to terraform this area since some parts look messy, and half of the slope of the mountain is exactly where I want to place the building. So first, I have to get rid of it. Removing the packed ice and snow isn't hard at all since the blocks are kind of weak, but the stone on the other hand is going to be really hard to break. Another issue are these goats that kick you when you least expect it, and it feels like they intentionally get in the way of where you want to break or place the block. I'm going to try to use the goat horn and calm them down a little. Well, that didn't do anything at all. Now with all of the blocks out of the way, I can place the schematics, but I still need to do a little more terraforming to make the snow and ice look natural. Another thing that inspired me to make this build is this survival channel called The Outdoor Boys that I've been binging on lately. It's this guy that literally goes to the coldest areas in Alaska and survives with minimal equipment. And while we won't be doing much surviving except not trying to die since we are playing hardcore, I still wanted to make sure my next build was in a winter setting. So with the terraforming complete and the lore of why I'm building this out of the way, it's time to begin the building process. As you can see, even with the goats in the way, I've managed to complete the first floor. This is the floor that's going to be containing a fireplace and the chest area at the bottom of the tree. Now it's time to move on to the second and third floor. Oh, and just to let you guys know, while I was recording the build, the replay file corrupted. So I lost around 2 hours of footage of the replay montage and survival. So I decided to build it again in an identical world in creative mode, bringing the grand total of times I built this winter cabin to a total of 3 times. But I won't let the Grinch ruin Christmas, so may the building continue. The winter cabin is now complete, but it's still missing a few touches. It was snowing while I was making this build, so I have to get rid of it. I want this entrance of this house to be along the mountainside, so I think it's best to create a path out of stone since the gray should pair well with the blue and white snow. Okay, so I finished the path and I think it looks good enough. I added more details like these stone slabs and fences with lanterns. Now it's time to showcase the house interior. So in order to enter the cabin, you have to come up the mountainside pathway and it takes you directly into the entrance, which is on the second floor. As you can see, I made the gap between the first and second floor so you can see the Christmas tree. Over here, there's a little side entrance to the porch area with an amazing view, especially when it's nighttime. Upstairs is where the rooms are located. I haven't decorated the interiors yet, but there's a guest bedroom and the main bedroom. The main bedroom also has a separate office area where I'm probably going to set up a workstation of some sort. And finally, the best part of the cabin in my opinion, the bottom floor. Here's where the campfire is located, which by the way, also connects to the chimney at the top. And to our right, we have a Christmas tree that I was planning to decorate and sit by to read subscriber comments. But this video will be posted a little after Christmas, so maybe next year. So you should subscribe for long-term investment. I swear you won't regret it at all. Thank you guys for watching and I hope you all enjoy the holiday season. In the meantime, I'll be in my winter cabin, sitting on the porch observing the northern light while the snow falls like white petals drifting from the sky above. The castle I'm building is about 80 blocks high, so I'm going to need the best materials and tools to get it done. Luckily, I devised a plan which contains 8 stages, and once those are complete, I'll have everything I need to make the castle. I'm going to be collecting thousands of blocks, so a better set of tools is the first thing I need. Stage number 1 consists of getting netherite to upgrade my diamond tools, so it's time to head to the nether. I've never mined ancient debris before, so before I begin mining, I want to be certain I'm using the most efficient method. Yeah, that's not gonna work for me. Okay, so instead of exploding beds and TNT, you can mine around a chunk of a border, which apparently is where ancient debris is most likely to generate. I've managed to acquire some ancient debris so far, but I still have to be sure to avoid Crimson Forest because I don't want hoglins to spawn. I just have to avoid those and I should be good. 8 ancient debris is enough for now, so it's time to go back home, smelt it, and craft. Wait, I forgot I need a smithing template to craft the debris into ingots, so I guess I have to go back real quick. I located a bastion, but challenging piglins head on would be a pretty dumb thing to do. Instead, I'm going to sneak in through the walls, pick them off one by one, steal the smithing template, and get out. Okay, I got the template now, so it's time to go home. Now all that's left is to duplicate the templates because I don't want to do that again. Craft the ingots, make the pickaxe and shovel, and with our new set of tools, we are one step closer to building the castle. With the tools acquired, we can move on to stage 2, collecting sand. I mentioned in a previous video that the desert is thousands of blocks away, so let's take a trip to the desert biome. Okay, so I've arrived at the desert and there's an armadillo here. I need 4,316 blocks of sand in order to make all of the concrete I need. So it's time to start digging. I'm glad I upgraded my tools to netherite since I've mined a good amount of sand and the durability has barely moved. All of these mobs are getting in the way, which is making collecting the sand even harder. I was going to bring a bed to sleep at night, but wool is pretty scarce right now. After a very long time, I managed to collect all of the sand I need. Let's head back home to prepare for the next stage. The next step to building the castle is to go caving. I need diorite and andesite for the exterior of the castle. I also need gravel to make the concrete, which will be used for the castle walls. All of these are found underground, so it's time to head down to the mines. Finding diorite and andesite can sometimes be a little annoying, but I've already mined the entire area, so I know exactly where the large chunks are. The pickaxe might be even better than the shovel. I've mined over 1,000 blocks and the durability has barely moved. And yes, I am easily impressed. I've never used netherite before, so this is a euphoric moment for me. I managed to find all of the diorite and andesite that I need, but I've run into a problem. It seems like I've already mined most of the gravel here from a previous video, and I don't want to go deeper underground since there's an ancient city down there. Finding enough gravel is going to take some time, but I can't give up now if I want to see my dream castle become a reality. After what feels like forever, I finally have all the diorite, andesite, and gravel I need, which means stage 3 is now complete. Yeah, I've been in these caves so long, I think I'm never coming back here. With the mines out of the way, it's time to move on to stage number... Wait, is that a cat? Okay, a cat just walked into my base, and I love cats, so instead we are going to be accomplishing a bonus stage, taming a cat. I don't have any fish right now, so my plan is to trap it here and make a quick fishing trip. I just need to craft a fishing rod, which I'm totally not forgetting how to craft. Hopefully I can get enough fish before the cat despawns. Okay, I have enough fish, hopefully it's enough. And the cat is gone. And the secret stage has failed. The next stage is to get as much white dye as possible. I need tons of it since white concrete is what most of the castle is going to be made out of. The easiest way to get white dye is flowers, but the white flowers near me give gray dye for some reason. So instead of flowers, I'm going to make the dye out of bone meal instead. Right on cue, nighttime is here, so it's time to farm skeletons. Killing skeletons is taking way too long, even with eluding 3 swords, so instead I'm going to go back to the flower method. I have white daisies and azure bursts, which only give me gray dye, but what I really need is lily of the valley, so let's go find it. I've managed to find a flower forest with tons of lily of the valley, so let's begin the flower picking process. Okay, let's try that again. I've managed to collect all of the lily of the valley I need, which should be enough white dye, which means stage 4 is now complete. So after gathering all of the raw materials from previous stages, I've managed to craft all of them into their final component. Concrete powder requires water to become regular concrete. This would usually take a long time since I'd have to place it manually and break it. Good thing countless of farms have been made to automatically place the concrete for me. So I'm going to be making one of those farms real quick. Now with the machine complete, all I have to do is put the concrete powder inside, and every time it dispenses, it should transform into regular concrete. All that's left to do is to sit here for an unreasonable amount of time and hold right click. I've been here for about 2 hours and I've mined about 4,000 concrete blocks. I think building this contraption was worth it, since I'm saving a ton of time. I also wanted to mention that I made some purple concrete as well, along with the white. Now just a little more effort and I'll have all the concrete I need for the castle. Now with 8,628 concrete blocks collected, we can finally move on to the next stage, which is arguably the most dangerous, and you'll see why in a minute. To complete stage 6, I need a full powered beacon. I haven't beat the wither yet in this world, so I need to collect wither skulls. After a few scary moments and minor mishaps, I've managed to collect all 3 wither skulls. Now, let's go take on the wither. My plan to fight the wither is pretty simple. On Java, you can summon him horizontally under the portal. Summoning him this way makes him suffocate in the pillar, giving you the nether star risk-free. I know it's kinda cheesy, but I'm playing hardcore and I really don't want to die. Now with the explanation out of the way, get ready for the most intense wither fight you've ever seen. And there we go. That didn't take too long. With the nether star, we can finally craft a beacon. It's going to be powered by using iron since I have a ton from my farm. Now let's go get this beacon up and running. The final touch is to put pink stained glass on it, and there we go. Stage 6 is now complete, which means we only have 2 stages left. This next stage shouldn't be a surprise to those of you with a keen eye. I've been subtly foreshadowing exactly what this stage is going to be about. I was going to bring a bed to sleep at night, but wool is pretty scarce right now. Yes, you guessed it. Stage 7 is going to be farming and shearing sheep. I need a total of 5,372 blocks of wool in order to make the castle. So I think saying we need tons of sheep is an understatement. Luckily, throughout this whole video, I've been secretly growing my sheep farm and making sure we have enough sheep. Now may the shearing procedure begin. Okay, I have bad news. The sheep are escaping and I don't really know how to stop it. I have all of the wool I need, so stage 7 is officially done, meaning we have one stage left to begin constructing the castle. Stage 7 was the last stage that takes place in the overworld, meaning that from this point on, once I enter the portal, there's no turning back. I transported all of the mats I'm going to need to the end dimension, but I think it's time I explain why I want to make the castle in the end. I love architecture and certain designs speak to me. When I see a cool building, I think, how can I make that in Minecraft? And while I was watching the Bleach anime, I saw this castle. I won't explain how or why the castle came to be, just know that I think it's really cool. The castle is white with purple accents, so I thought the best place to make it would be the end. I do want to point out that I'm not building it to a 1-to-1 ratio, but instead I just used it as inspiration. Now with the lore on the castle out of the way, I think it's time I started building. Only problem is these obsidian pillars that take up a ton of space. Stage 8 requires us to get these pillars out of the way using the best pickaxe possible and haste from the beacon. I've prepared everything to take out these pillars as efficiently as possible. Let the final stage commence. Mining obsidian for hours is not for the weak. Subscribe if you want to see more videos of me spending hours of my life chopping, digging, crafting. All of the stages are now complete. All of the work put into exploring the nether, digging sand in the desert, mining in the caves, picking flowers, shearing sheep, and building a beacon, all of it was for this moment. Everything in order to see this castle come to reality. So let the building begin. Building in the end is easy and hard at the same time. You don't have to worry about mob spawning since there's no day and night cycle. However, some of the endermen are very strange. They literally stare at you waiting for you to look back and then get offended when you do. It seems to me like they want to start a fight sometimes and they manage to do that. They also do a lot of damage, so I have to be very careful getting one angry. I placed these water pools across the end to deal with them easier. Now let's get back to building. All I'm missing now are the pillars, which I'm going to use the purple concrete for. And with the final block placed, the castle is now complete. It's missing light because, believe it or not, the end is kind of dark. I think end rods would look nice, so let me go get some from the end city. I'm also going to decorate the interior some other time, since that will take a while. As for the outside of the castle, I made sure to use two pillar designs, one closed and another open. The open one is kind of like an archer tower, and the one with purple concrete is your standard medieval fantasy pillar. I wanted the castle to be mostly white concrete since quartz is too expensive, but I thought wool would add more depth to the build and pair well with other blocks. The andesite and diorite were used to create layers for the castle and make it pop out more. Overall, I'm glad I decided to make this castle. Every block mined, every item crafted, and every sheep sheared. It might have been hard at the time, but in the end, it was all worth it. Today I'm building an ancient Japanese temple in hardcore Minecraft, complete with a Zen garden inspired by real-world architecture. But here's the catch, I need to gather thousands of blocks, and if I die once, it's all over. Let's see if I can pull this off. I need 3,156 blocks of wood to make the entire temple, so first thing we need to do is get a better axe. Efficiency 4 and Fortune 3 should be good enough to collect all the wood we need. The first area we are going to collect wood at is the mangrove swamp. I've never been to one, so this should be really interesting. I'm here at the swamp, and having all these frogs jumping around is making me kind of nervous. The way the swamp generates trees is also kind of interesting. Definitely one of the most unique trees in Minecraft. I've managed to collect all of the mangrove wood I'm going to need, so it's time to head back home. Last wood on this list is dark oak. I live near a dark oak forest, so this shouldn't be too hard at all, especially since each tree contains a lot of logs. I'm about to finish collecting all the dark oak, only a few stacks left, and I should be done anytime now. And there we go, all the wood is collected. That's one major component down, but we're just getting started. Luckily I collected most of the stone and andesite I needed when I destroyed half of a mountain for a previous build, but now it's time to scout the perfect location for the temple. This little hill stands out from the rest of the forest and is the perfect place to make the temple. But there's one problem. There's way too many trees in the way, so what's the solution? Setting the forest on fire. And of course it starts raining. It's okay, it's not like I have a video to upload or anything. Okay, a few minutes have passed and the rain is over, so let's continue. Now with all of the trees gone, I'm going to start terraforming the land. I'm also going to need grass blocks for the build, so I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let the terraforming begin. The base of the temple is going to be made out of smooth stone, stone bricks, and andesite. I'm also adding some stairs to give the build a bit of elevation. it's time to add some greenery. Using a mix of grass and dirt, I want to give this area a rustic, natural feel. I'm also creating these little craters where I'll plant trees later to fill in the space. I think it's starting to come together. With the layout complete, it's time to build the bridge. I'm gonna use the same wood from the temple to make everything look cohesive. The bridge is done, but the area beneath it needs water. Before I add that though, I think the garden is missing a few finishing touches, like leaves, bone meal, bamboo, the subscribe button, and sugarcane. Now, all that's left is to add water. And with the ponds filled, the garden is now complete. But before I start building the tower, I want to share why I'm so passionate about this project. I've always been fascinated by Japanese architecture, the way the buildings blend with nature and create a sense of harmony. But I think my love for these style of buildings actually goes back to my childhood. When I was a kid, I played this game called Pokemon Heart Gold, and there was this incredible structure called the Bell Tower. It was a tall, ancient tower built to honor Ho-Ho, the rainbow Pokemon. The design of the tower has always stuck with me, and I realized it's the perfect inspiration for this build. So I've decided to name this temple the Bell Tower in honor of that memory. If this video hits 500 likes, I'll transform this entire area into a Japanese city based on Kyoto or any you guys suggest. I know it's a hefty goal, but I believe we could do it. Okay, the build is complete, but I think instead of simply having oak leaves, I want to mix and match oak with cherry blossom trees as well. So I'm going to go visit a cherry grove real quick. Luckily, the cherry grove is near my creeper farm, so it wasn't too hard to find. Yeah, this should be enough saplings. I think the build looks good, but it's missing some flowers. Yeah, that's a lot better. And here you have it, an ancient Japanese temple built entirely in hardcore Minecraft. This isn't just one of my most unique builds because of how it looks, but because of what it represents. This temple is a tribute to the bell tower from Pokemon, a place that filled my childhood with wonder and inspiration. It's more than just a structure, it's a symbol of rebirth and hope. This temple will serve as the cornerstone of a brand new Japanese district, a place where creativity and nostalgia come together. It's a reminder that even in hardcore Minecraft, where every block counts and every risk matters, we can create something meaningful and lasting. Because while I may slip up and lose this world one day, the memories will always last forever. If you made it to the end of the video, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm recording this a bit after I record the next 600 days, so I've already made some progress you guys haven't seen yet. I just want to let you guys in on the thought process on making these style of videos. Minecraft content these days is very fast paced, in your face, one edit every second. I make this type of content knowing that it's not exactly what the algorithm or what people are looking for necessarily, and I'm okay with that. You know, it's the stylistic choice I made to make it more slow paced. So if you made it all the way to the end, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. So if there's any recommendations you'd like to make, anything you'd like to see in this world, just let me know, comment it down below. But once again, thank you for watching and have a great day.